What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Flashback Friday. Here with my friend Anik Lemaire. How are we doing, my friend?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm
It's been a
good. I
long
love that
time.
intro so much. It gets me fired up. I don't know. It's just that music. It's
Can't wait for this season. Holy
oh,
crap. It's like
we're
hockey
on.
withdrawal.
There is hockey withdrawal going on. We're on the verge of the full training camp. So the rookie camp still happening as we speak. I think today's the last day until next week when the full camp begins. But
Yep.
for today's episode, we're going to talk about probably, at least in our lifetime, it's one of our favorite playoff series, playoff moments, Habs moments. You were there for one of these games. Actually, you were at the
Yep.
Tampa game. Sorry.
Tampa game. Yeah.
The series before this one. But the one we're going to talk about, the 2014 semi-final matchup between the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens, one that our very own, the Dutch Gretzky himself, Dale Weise, was a big part of this series, which we're going to talk about a lot today. And I'm excited.
It's probably one of my favorite series ever. I mean, I still call it the PK and Dale Weiss show. Let's be honest. Those two erupted during that series. And I think that's when, I mean, Dale was always a fan favorite before that, but he made it towards, I have no words to describe it, but that's when the fan base fell in love with Dale Weiss. Multiple reasons. A few clutch goals. I mean, Lucic. Come on.
Oh yeah, that's
There's
we're gonna get
multiple events with Milan Lucic. So many things. So we were supposed to get Dale to come on the show today, but he's not going to be able to join due to some, I guess, time zone differences right now too. It's like 11 p.m. for him, so a little bit harder. But we will give you guys a link to a few comments that he has made in the past regarding the Milan Lucic situation and stuff. But today, I think we should start by covering Game 1. Montreal wins 4-3 in double overtime in Boston. So if you guys remember correctly, the Montreal and Boston Bruins did not like each other very well at all.
Never really have, but
right? Never really have. But I feel like
extra hate in this series.
Extra hate, which we kind of don't have anymore. And well, we don't have anymore. There's still that hate, but it's not as intense as what it was when Milan Lucic was playing against guys like Alexei Emelin and Dale Weiss, PK. You got guys like Brad Marchand too that are still a pest, but even worse back then. So the fact that we won Game 1 in double overtime at the TD Garden, I think, is what sparked an extra plug under these guys' butts, coming in from a 4-0 sweep against the Lightning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, it was so. And also Zdeno Chara was still kind of in that intimidation, era where he was able, like that's when the Bruins, I think, were the most intimidating, was during that time. 3 years removed from their Stanley Cup win in 2011. And Jerome Iginla on this team as well.
That's
we can't forget about Iggy being part of that team. And Dale, of course, will tell you the story of, well, as we all know, what actually happened. Iginla and Lucic were flexing at Dale on the bench through this series. So we'll get to that in a moment, but maybe we'll start actually with the lineup that was a part of this series, which featured, as you can see here, the first line: David Desharnais at center, Max Pacioretty, Thomas Vanek, who was acquired at the trade deadline in March of 2014 that year, and then our second line of Plecky at center, Danny Briere, Gallagher, and then Galchenyuk at center, which was I don't even remember him playing center. Controversial lineup here. No, but and then Rene Bourque, who
was clutch as hell in 2014. Let's be honest.
He was a lot of fun to have, and scored.
He came in handy.
I mean, this is another series we're talking about at the moment here, but prior to this one at Tampa, you were at Game 3. And you remember the eruption at the Bell Center when he scored like less than a minute into the game. PK flips the puck from their own zone down, and you were there, so you you know all about that.
Yeah, amazing. I've never heard the Bell Center that way, and one of my best memories for sure. Absolutely.
And then the last line, of course, we can't forget Travis Moen, Lars Eller, and our boy Dale Weiss on the fourth line. Markov Emelin, Frankie Bouillon, now part of the Laval Rocket prospect squad. I don't can't remember his proper
Yeah.
title right now, but he's looking after that right now. And then PK,
Mhm.
of course, was with him, and then Mike Weaver, and I want to say
Douglas
Darth Murray
Murray.
or Doug Murray. Oh, Doug
Douglas
Murray.
Murray.
Okay.
And our
And
boy
then
Carey Price.
somebody named Carey Price.
And I'm just going to poke fun at myself too. I know that I made a typo in Emmeline. I literally Frenched it to the max.
You're allowed.
Emmeline.
You're the only
So
one that can do that.
I'm French, so I'm allowed. So I do apologize for the typo, which I just realized was there. So you can poke fun at me at the comments if you want. I shall not take it personally. But
All good.
Dale talks about how this lineup and this group of guys who were just so tight and so close. So obviously we know that in the next round we lose Carey Price to a knee injury thanks to Chris Kreider. And that's where it just went downhill. But everybody thought that 2014 was the year that the Montreal Canadiens were going to make it to the cup, if not win the cup. There was a special bond between these guys where I think until this year, I haven't seen that type of chemistry and that type of, let's say, brotherhood between teammates. So this was the last time that our boys made it to a conference final, and yet alone had this type of fan base that was so pumped around them. So it's nice to revisit moments like this. It's been asked by you guys for so many weeks now, so we're so happy to cover it. And I think we should start by one of the best moments, which was PK Subban's goal.
Oh.
PK comes out of the box. I think it was a pass by Lars Eller, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Coming down the wing, flips it through center, and our boy PK, out of the penalty box, goes right through the net and scores. So here's a quick clip of PK scoring one of the best goals. And then obviously that killer celebration at the end too.
Goosebumps though. It just like it sends that electricity through your body, like when you watch that clip. Like
it does.
It's like a head rush watching that goal.
Yeah.
And you know what? At the time, if we really look back, there was a racial slur that was put towards PK on, I think it was on Twitter from a Boston fan, and he even said, you know, this is no reflection on Boston Bruins fans. It was some idiot that made that comment, and then he scores that goal right after that, just sending the Bell Center into a frenzy that hasn't been heard before.
Multiple racial controversies and comments were made in Boston as well. Some very personal as well. Like, I mean, it was just, there's no place for this in hockey. And I think what the most ridiculous moment is that his brother Malcolm Subban was drafted by the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, just kind of some irony.
It just made no sense, you know, and there's no room for that in sports or anywhere. So, I mean, just I'm glad that this series PK was able to be PK and prove tons of people wrong and play the game he loves. And he came in clutch throughout that whole playoffs. He led the team with 4 goals, 3 passes, and 7 points in 7 games. That speaks a lot. And even regular season, he's got 53 points, so 10 goals and 43 passes.
Yeah, no, it was a huge season for him.
Huge season.
And just, you know, the way, like, this is the PK that we missed, right? This guy who was a gamer. Michelle Tarrant always called him a gamer, and always showed up in the big moments. And even right from game 1 of this series, scored the first goal of the game, and then he scored the last goal of the game to win it in double overtime. You know, and I loved that one was a wrister, one was a slap shot. So like you always expect the big windup from PK, and then on the winner,
you didn't get it that time.
I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think the wrister was the winning goal.
The wrister was the first goal.
It was the first one. Okay.
Yeah, the slap shot was at the second OT. Yeah, so PK was PK. So PK, if you are listening, can you please answer Dale's text and come on the show? I'm just gonna throw a little jab here because we'd like to get you on the show. And
I got a funny story with PK.
I know you're on vacation, but I mean, get out of vacation. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I should have let you finish that before interrupting. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
go ahead.
But you're right. No, you're right. We PK endorsed the Habs Tonight show at the very beginning. So if you go back, there is a clip that Dale was able to squeeze out of PK's tight schedule. So we definitely would love to get you on. And we know you love Montreal and you always will. So
Yeah.
got a funny story about meeting him with my wife, and
Oh, no way.
I'll wait to tell that story. We'll keep that in the holster, but yeah, going back to the series here, I got to tell you, it was so much fun because I was in Cuba for half of this series,
Ooh.
and I was
no Wi-Fi in Cuba.
no Wi-Fi in Cuba. Like I had no access to the internet. I couldn't even find out about the Game 6 results until it was like until Game 7 had already happened, and I didn't even know that we had won yet. So the way that I found out that we won this series in 7 games was I just found out we won Game 6. So I'm like, sweet, I'm going to breakfast now. I'm feeling good. I'm like, okay, hopefully they win tonight. And I go to sit down, and some guy walks up to me, and I'm wearing this shirt. So I'm in Cuba wearing this exact shirt I have on today. And he goes, hey, congrats. Like, we won. Like, he's another Habs fan, right? I'm like, yeah, we won Game 6. Like, we're going to Game 7, right? And he's like, no, like, we won the series. I'm like, what do you mean?
Like, oh shit.
Like, what do you mean we won the series? What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, we won Game 7 in Boston. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I had no idea.
Go celebrate.
I had no freaking idea. Like, I
Best
was
news
so
you got all
up,
day.
Yeah, so it was. And like I somehow snuck onto the computer, onto Facebook, like the first time I had internet in like a week and a half. And I posted the picture of Dale scoring on the breakaway. So maybe it's an appropriate time to show Dale's goal. I think it was what game 6, game 4 or game 6. I think it was.
You caught me on that one. I should have done better research, but here is Dale's goal.
And here is the towels, ladies and gentlemen, from
that official series. 2014 towels.
We got to show these. Come on, man.
Not rehearsed at all.
2014. Oh yeah, like as if we happen to have these towels. My buddy was at the playoffs, so we got to sneak these in, and then you were there, so you got your towel.
Yeah, mine's from round 1 though, so I mean,
that's okay.
A little bit of a lie, but
I
mean, it doesn't say on it. Yeah, it just says 2014 series, so
yeah,
I can get away with it. But I mean,
that goal. I don't know which eruption was like. PK's was really loud, but Dale's was really loud too, man. Like that breakaway goal, and then followed up by the famous.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about that chest pump. So if we go back into the previous game in Boston, Milan Lucic decided to be Milan Lucic and chest pumped after scoring
an empty
to show up the other team. And I mean, karma's a bitch, Milan. So our boy Dale turns around, scores this goal, hits the window with the fans, celebrates, goes back to the bench, and chest pumps. So here's a quick video of Dale chest pumping and then explaining that Milan Lucic decided to do it, so he thought he had his own version.
Danny Briere, and there goes Dale.
Yeah. I've seen them do it a few times. Throw my own in there.
I mean, why not?
Good. So good, man. Like,
but you were saying that Dale once said that this video of him chest pumping was on the Jumbotron a few times.
Oh yeah.
Throughout the period, and that got the fans pumping as well. So I think it's tiny things like this that got the fan base so in love with the type of player that Dale was, because he was just playing for the crest on his chest. Not only is it his childhood team, but he was so invested into that series and into winning that whatever he did was like a miracle from God. whatever he did, it's like, Dale Weise did it, it's fine.
If Dale's honest, like there was angels on his shoulders, like telling him how to deal with Lucic, and he did it the best. No, we got to talk about the flex. So the flex is where, again, like you just said too, they replayed that on the Jumbotron. So Jerome McGinley and Milan Lucic were flexing at the Habs in Game 5, I believe it was. It's either Game 3 or Game 5, and then Dale, right after the whistle, after either the second period or whatever it was, goes after Lucic, and Dale admits, like, I mean, Lucic is an intimidating guy, and they all wanted to fight him. Like you'll hear Dale tell the story in the clip that we're going to post at the end of this video, what fully happened. But if we can just show Dale flexing back at Milan Lucic, like This was one of my favorite moments, and the crowd at the Bell Center was just going berserk, and they
Well,
kept playing
yeah.
this. And I don't want to tell too much because I want to let Dale tell the story in the clip. It's already got like
Yeah.
25,000 views or something crazy. And people want us to know what Lucic said to Dale on the handshake line, which you've also find in that clip. That was something that people want to know for a long time. But that moment was such a blast. I mean, if you're not gonna fight Milan Lucic, you want to get in his head, and that's exactly what Dale did.
I think it's been one of the most common things when you play either at the TD Garden or against Boston. It was always the big bad Bruins going after you, just hitting. But Montreal uses the speed that they have, which frustrates them, and then just gets into their head. Okay, you want to hit me? Fine, hit me. You'll get tired at some point.
Yeah.
So just the fact that they got so much into his head is just amazing. Because
Yeah,
let's be honest, PK was going at it with Brad Marchand too. We all know Brad Marchand's a pest, but he was an extra pest before he decided to be like a leading scorer and stuff, I feel like he just switched the page from one year to the other where he's still a pest, but he's not getting as much under your skin as he used to. And then I think that's the series too, where you've got Claude Julien, who's actually behind the Bruins' bench. Let's not forget that. He's not a Canadiens coach for once. And he's just going berserk too. That's my favorite Boston Bruins moment, is pissing off Claude Julien. I absolutely love seeing pissed off at the back of the bench. I love it.
I mean, I think we got to I think the Habs got to everybody. That's the whole thing. Like, it was Sean Thornton, I think. Like,
Sean Thornton. Oh my God.
It was him, Lucic. Like
Tim Thomas was there too at the time.
Yeah, Timmy Thomas, and he had a heck of a run in his career too. But
he had a heck of a run with Carey Price too in the season. Let's not forget that.
They almost fought each other. They kind of did.
Yeah.
But Carey won the takedown in that. I'll give him that too for sure. But I want to talk about Game 7 here because as we know, Dale Weise, leading our team in Habs tonight, opened the scoring in Game 7. I think it was the first period, and then, of course, right from there, Montreal held their own, and I think it was Desharnais to Pacioretty to make it 2-0 in the second period. And then in the third period, Danny Briere banks it off of Zdeno Chara's leg, and the Habs went up. I think it was 3-1 was the final score in Game 7, but
4-1.
Was it 4-1?
4-1. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was 3-1 in Game 7, but anyway, I'm not a stats guy. We need Shane, but. It's all in the paper. I'm not going to argue with you. Yeah, there we go. So, but then it leads us to the handshake line, where, of course, Milan Lucic was fired right up, and then looked over at Dale, and we'll let Dale tell the story.
Said some kind words
to Weise and to Alexei Emelin.
To Emelin, yeah.
Right, and then I remember even later that year in the next season, Emelin like hip checked Lucic. Next season at the beginning of the season, first matchup since Game 7, and I was like, oh man, we got the best of him there.
It's going to be a great season. You just know when Emelin hits the ice, it's going to be a great season. I kind of miss. We have that now with I find with Romanov, where you kind of see similarities of the Russian train. Like, he's coming at you, choo choo, get out of the way because you're going to get rammed up. So I'm kind of happy to see a similar type of player, because Alexei Emelin he might not have been on the score sheet as much, but he could play. Yep. And I miss having that type of, I guess, enforcer at the defense. We have Shea Weber, obviously, but Shea's not going to be the type to throw an Emelin hit. When he hits you, he's going to hit you. Yeah. But I mean, he's not going to go out of his way to throw a hip check and flip you over his shoulder like Emelin does. Right. So I'm happy we have a similar type of guy that's in the lineup right now, which brings us to this season. I hope we get to see a lot more of Alexei Emelin. Wow. Alexander Romanov into the lineup. And it's not like the playoffs where he was a little bit more on the sidelines here, but what a handshake. I mean, you don't see that very often. And I think Dale mentioned it too, where the media just kind of threw it out of proportion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
it got made into a huge deal. Yeah. Everybody was the lip reader at some point.
Yeah. So yeah, TSN broke the story, I think it was. But even going back to PK for a really quick second too.
Yeah.
The hardest hit, I think, in
On
The
Marchand.
hardest hit that Brad Marchand's ever received in his career was from PK, and it wasn't in this playoff series, but that's one fond memory we have of PK too. Is that just hitting him with his butt, right? Like just smoking him. But
He
this series was
cut
something.
his wind right out. You could see it
Yeah.
on the bench too. Like he's having trouble catching his breath. Like it was a perfectly clean hit.
Yep.
But I mean, get your head up and sit down.
Yep, that's it. But this series was something else, and even looking back into the history of the rivalry, this was when it was probably at its peak, at least for our generation, was this
for sure.
2014 series. So fond memories of this series, and it went back and forth the entire time. And
It could have gone either way, but I think, like we said before, we just got in their heads so much. It just benefited us at some point.
It worked in our favor. It's kind of like just every time this team gets underestimated, even now, even going into this coming season, the Canadiens find a way to rally together and just go against every bit of doubt that comes at them. So this was a blast, and we wish Dale could have been here firsthand to tell you guys the story, but he will tell you at least some of it for sure, even on our first episode on this show with George Larocque. So, but I guess we'll wrap this one up and hope that you guys enjoyed reminiscing. Just want to make sure we didn't forget anything here. I think we went through it all as best as we could.
One more thing. I wanted to share Andrew's story here. Yes. So Andrew is a friend of mine on Twitter here, and he shared that Andrew is from Calgary, and he took a trip to Montreal, was there for the 4-0 shutout win. Lucic had a beer can thrown at him. That I actually don't remember. I remember the Boston fans throwing stuff on the ice back at the TD Garden. But in Montreal, don't remember Lucic having a beer thrown at his head. He spent a night on the town and then took a 7 a.m. flight back to Calgary. So Andrew here is a huge Habs fan. So if you're not following him on Twitter at @amarchand, do it. You won't regret it. Huge Habs fan and great guy too. So Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your story here. When you fans tag us and stuff, we always take a look at it, and we'll always share your stories on here. If you're looking to have a specific type of show you want us to cover for Flashback Friday, send us your ideas, I guess. Whatever works. Request. There you go. God, I can't talk today. Before we do log off, I wanted to talk about merch. So you guys can visit our website, habstonight.net. We've got some back to school stuff. We've got some fall coats that are just been released. New t-shirts are coming out. New hats are coming out. What else do we have?
The backpacks. I really love the back to school. This is my hat here.
Hats,
so I'm
yes, the backpacks for back to school. The hats are extremely comfortable. Dale said he's the most pickiest hat guy in the world, and even he enjoys it. So take it from him. Yep. We will have some winter stuff that's going to be coming out. I know it's still a bit of summer here, but some nice Habs Tonight toques, you name it. We'll probably have it. If you have some suggestions, pass them along. Subscribe to the channel. Yes, always please. New content coming out. We're going to have an interview with Lekkonen and Cole Caulfield coming up soon. We don't have the exact dates yet. We're still trying to plan everything around with Dale and the boys. Training camp has started, so it's going to be a little harder to coordinate dates here, but we will have them on very soon. So stay tuned for that.
Yep.
Deeks, I'm going to let you close us off here.
Yeah, just want to say thanks to everybody watching. Hope you enjoyed reminiscing here. And as just echoing what Nick said, just do submit your request for Flashback Friday. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms. And we enjoy reminiscing about any and every Montreal Canadiens memory that we can think of. Yeah. So submit them to us. And it doesn't even have to be Montreal. I think it's something.
Yeah, it can be anybody. Yeah.
We'll branch off and talk about other teams, other memories. So Flashback Friday, talking about any fond hockey memories that you have that you want to share or have us talk about on the channel. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys again very, very soon.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.